Labour's commitment to raise money by going after people who are presumed to be fraudulently claiming money from the state or not paying all their taxes is going to open the floodgates to the sort of persecution which has been itemized, which has been described in the pages of The Guardian today on George Henderson. George Henderson had to sell his home to repay nearly £20,000 simply because he ticked the wrong box on his carer's allowance form. Now, up to the point where he claimed the carer's allowance, his son was claiming income support. His son was then having that support taken from him by malicious individuals who were trying to get him hooked on heroin. And this seemed, and he had a face-to-face conversation with advisors, and yet the forms are so unbelievably badly designed so that the questions which are being asked that you tick or you cross, the questions that are being asked are almost impossible to answer on your own, and even with advice, you're likely to get them wrong. They're trick questions designed to catch you out. And in his case, he wasn't aware. He thought the question, is this person employed, was about his son, not about him. And so he was continuing to do work with a taxi and was then told that he was he'd fallen foul of the system. He was taken to court. He describes the application form as tricky. I thought they were asking about John, he says. And he was earning a minimal wage as a taxi driver. And it took 6 years before the department, rather than helping him, took him to court. And he'd claimed £19,506.20, £60 a week. And the DUP, rather than saying that there'd been a mistake, wanted all of this money clawed back. The result is he sold his house. He is now on income support himself. He was threatened with prison. He felt like a criminal, he said, which he's not. He received letters from the DWP demanding that he sell his two-bedroom house to pay the debt or face a 7-month jail sentence. And, you know, the only thing I can say is this is extraordinary. Now, it's paralleled, I think, by the story now that the police have reopened the investigation into Angela Rayner and whether she broke electoral law by giving false information about where she was living before she became an MP. And this is because neighbours have apparently contradicted her claims that she was living in one property rather than another property, which was her main residency. James Daly, it doesn't matter whether you think that James Daly's investigations or interest in Angela Rayner is designed to upset the apple cart and make the Labour deputy look foolish, or whether you think this is a genuine investigation. The reality is this sort of time-consuming nonsense over a technicality. In both cases, these are technicalities. In both cases, there may have been something that the individual did wrong. But in both cases, Angela Rayner said she took advice. It may have been the wrong advice. Henderson said that he ticked the wrong box because the question was not clear. What we actually need is bureaucrats to be absolutely clear about the question that they want an answer for. Instead, we've got to a point where all the questions are coded questions with coded answers. And they're designed not to give information, not to help, but to catch us out. And I think the Labour plan to claw back money from, quote, fraud is a step towards bureaucratic disaster. The only people this will benefit will be the more bureaucrats who are engaged in ringing on people's doorbells, telephoning people, sending threatening letters, and everybody cowering in fear that for a few pence here or there, because of a misunderstanding of the absurdity of the question, people are going to be in danger of prosecution. The only people who benefit will be the civil servants and the legal teams. I think it's a sorry future that we are entering, and it doesn't matter whether it's controlled by the Labour Party or the Conservative Party. This is about bureaucracy and the failure of bureaucracy. There used to be a system about clear English that needs to be revived, and it needs to be revived speedily if this is the route down which the Labour Party wishes to go.